IDA first? Do IDA first?
Yeah.
All right, are you ready? Great. Good morning, everybody. I'd like to call the order of the Troy IDA meeting. Today is October 29th, 2021. First item on the agenda is the approval of the minutes from the September 24th, 2021 meeting. Do I have a motion to approve? Asher, do I have a second? Sue, all in favor?
And I'll abstain.
Yes. Great. Josh and Stephanie abstain. Item number 2, budget.
So wait a minute, so you guys abstain. So we're back in that same thing, and I got 4.
Yes, please.
Sasha, Albert. 3. Wait, who
you
abstained?
Stephanie and Josh.
What's our total quorum right now?
Total quorum is like 4. Well, right now we have 8 members.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and anybody remote?
No. No, nobody's remote. So,
And we have 4 votes out of 6,
yeah, so we're,
and all 4 of those people are at that meeting?
Yep.
mm-hmm. Should be good. Yep, good.
Item number 2, the budget.
All right, so you
Does
have,
everybody have that?
so now I believe, did I give you a revised budget this morning or not? I didn't, I'm sorry, my bad. This is a revised budget only in that one of the footnotes was corrected, okay?
You got those lines off, huh?
You need one? What's that?
You got those lines off?
Can I get one?
All right, trying to figure out how to get those.
Oh, I don't know how that happened. I think it was a different way. I think it might have been the LDC one that was different. Okay, so, basically, you have the 2021 actual end-of-year estimate, okay? And, I mean, that's sitting down with Mary Ellen, basically getting as best of an idea of where we anticipate being on December 31st. The only thing, I mean, the fees, we got a fee from the Fazios for $14,009. I know there was fees in there for a small project we did with the Christopher. But you can see basically our revenue this year was $25,000. Our expenses were fairly significant, so we had a loss of $146,397. This year we have, this year obviously the pipeline's getting filled back up again. We've got a lot of projects starting to come in, but with COVID there was just not a lot of projects. There was nothing last year. The 2022 budget, you have a revenue there of $417,000, which includes project fees for City Station North. I've got estimating 171 River. First Columbia has a number of projects coming down the pike now that we're working on them with. Call it Insight behind the wine garden, wine garden.
King Station 2.
King Station 2, I don't know what to call it anymore, but it's King 2. So
King's
we've got all those fees, King's Landing. So that's the 417. The next line is basically 701 River Street, that 247,000. And if you look down in 2020, down near the bottom, you see that offsets. Remember, we did project expenses there. After the fire, they needed, we did some project expenses for them out of our capital reserves. So what we did was that is coming back in the form of a lease lease and purchase price. When
It's a receivable, yeah, almost as if it were a loan.
So we have a income of $665,000 next year, next year, and then professional service contracts that carries through. Justin, the audit, the insurance, Mary Ellen's company. So that's what those are, and that's pretty consistent throughout the years. Other operating expenditures, 61.7. That is an anticipated revenue share on that same project, Kings 2. LDC helped put that deal together, so that's 50% of the revenue fee that's up top on the first line. And other non-operating expenditures, 8. I said those backwards. that 61.7 is wayfinding expenses that we've previously agreed to cover. So
What's that again?
it's signage in the downtown area for directional signage to help people, you know, get where they're going, pedestrians and vehicles as well.
And that's a one-time fee?
It's a one-time fee, so, yeah, so we had, approved that, I think, last January, and, so that's what that one is. And then the 67.5 below is the King's Landing that I was talking about before. So, so we have expenses of 381, or expenses of 283,000 for an excess of 381 over the year. And then, basically, we just carried the numbers through based on our anticipated expectations. Questions?
Where's the land?
It is. I wish I had this problem with the LDC.
Unless there's anything. Anyone, have any questions regarding the budget? Do we have a motion to approve the budget?
Reimbursement for what we outlaid.
I'll make a motion.
Stephanie, do we have a second?
Balances. When that
Josh,
closes, we get
all in
paid.
favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
For
Great.
rent and all kinds of stuff.
Right.
Mhm.
The administrative funding agreement, so we have a resolution in here. This is an annual expense that we always pay. It covers the cost of staff that basically work for the IDA. It covers Danae, it covers me, it covers Dylan Surek, Andy Kreshik, as we all do work on different projects. So, and even Andy Petrowski, who's our treasurer. So that's what is covered out of here. It's an annual agreement of $100,000.
Where are you looking, Steve?
Well, it should be the next item. It's an agreement.
Funding
It's in your,
agreement.
yeah, it's in your packet, administrative funding agreement.
Oh, okay, gotcha. All right.
And again, it's standard format of what we do every year. I will say that they are looking to get additional funding out of us in 2023. They tried to put additional funding in for this year, and I was like, well,
Who's that?
the city.
Ah,
So that'll probably go up to about 120 or 125 next year, but for now, it's $100,000.
Should we?
has that been swept this year?
I think that's already,
It's already in there?
actually, that's part of the 100, that's why that number, professional service contracts, is so high. 100,000 of that 154 on the budget we just approved is that $100,000.
Okay.
Like the rest, the 54, yeah, the other things I spoke about.
So how long has it been, 100,000?
I've been here 5.5 years, it's been it for 5.5 years.
Been that way for at least 10, at least.
Yeah,
I think it was 80 for a spell, and I think it went up to 100.
yeah, so with all the new union agreements that have happened over the last couple of years, and
Steve, you get to update the 2023 budget for that line item for an additional 25 grand?
I don't now, because I don't know what it's gonna be,
Gotcha.
so we'll do that next year.
All right.
So are you saying that that's why that number is higher, that year-end estimate?
The 150.
It's this year.
Are you gonna pay it next year? Right.
We're gonna pay it, we pay it every year.
What time of year do you usually pay it?
We pay by year end. Did we pay this?
Okay.
We didn't pay this year yet, right? 100,000. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's gonna hit our year-end fund balance, right?
Yeah. Any questions regarding this funding agreement for $100,000 to pay to the city for staffing purposes?
Me?
All right, do we have a motion to approve the $100,000 funding agreement to pay to the city for, which is an annual expense for staffing? Do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Sue, do we have a second?
Second.
Stephanie, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
I got a question, what if you don't pay it, what happens?
I don't know. That's not a question. We're paying it.
Yeah.
We always pay it.
You serve at the pleasure of that board.
Yeah.
The third rail no one ever
why
wants to
even-
touch.
If it's something that's, why you have to do this, if it's,
Well, again, we are otherwise, we're working for the IDA for free, so it's covering our expenses and the time we put into working on the IDA, and a lot of what we do is stuff for the IDA.
but aren't you employed by the city though?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Uh,
employed by the city, but, so, I mean, it's offset by the revenue fees that the IDA gets, so
oh,
it's a way
okay,
to
all
compensate
right,
the city for our time.
okay.
The alternative would be for the IDA to hire outside staff, much like our CFO, and then have private sector compensation with payroll or management agreement, which would kind of land you at the same spot, I presume.
Next item on the agenda, the executive director's report, please.
Okay,
Pipeline of projects or something there?
yeah, so I just, I mentioned there's a lot of projects that are now starting to come to planning commission, that will be coming to us in the near future. There's the market, just north of the Hoosick Street. These are the three First Columbia projects. So there's the grocery store, across from the Flanagan Building. There is a rock wall just south of the Flanagan Building, and which might not be, which I would say the rock wall and the senior center north of the Flanagan Building are more likely to be end of year or early next year. The Trojan Hotel has a new owner, so we'll be seeing that this year now. That's gonna be a residential project instead of a hotel project, but a mixed use with a restaurant and, on the ground floor and in the basement as well. What else? The Cannon Building recently sold, so I've been discussing with them. They're gonna do some major upgrades to that building as well. So things are starting to come back. City Station North is trying to close in November of this year, so that'll be a big revenue payment to the city. And, we have a couple more that are hanging out there that we're still waiting on. Let's
What's
see.
going on with the old dealership? Wasn't that a project?
That's City Station North.
Oh, that's north? Oh, okay.
Yeah, the Bumstead Chevrolet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, all right.
So hopefully they'll start to get an asbestos abatement that they'll start with, and then construction.
So if that, is it, King's Landing closes in November? That adjust, which one's closing in November potentially?
That's actually not, that's City Station North.
City Station, if that were to close,
That's potentially $218,000
so that would fall into the 2021 numbers
instead of 2022.
instead of 2022,
Yeah,
okay.
but I don't know.
Yeah.
I never know when it's gonna
Just
be.
wanted to confirm,
Yeah.
all right.
Let's see, what else? The Chambers asked us for a $2,400 sponsorship for the Victorian Stroll, so I'm gonna do that as a sponsorship. It helps, do window decorations and things for them, for businesses. I mentioned the Cannon Building. I'm paying, Community Development Financial, Council of Development Finance Agencies. We have an annual, fee with them for $550. I'm paying that now. They supply us with, they have webinars that Dylan and I attend, technical assistance if we need it on projects. A great nationwide, firm, or, anyway, so that we're gonna be paying that. I've been talking with you about purchasing properties on Dow Street. They are in limbo right now with a lawsuit, so that's still on hold. But we are still trying to progress that. But there's a sibling lawsuit going on in there, so we're kind of stuck for now.
Family's the best.
Yeah, that family is the best. Do I have anything else? And that's it for executive director's report and old business.
Anyone have any questions regarding those projects? Do we have to make a motion at all, or for these?
No.
Okay,
So,
all right, there's no further questions, we'll move on to the item. Financials, Erin.
First report is the statement of financial position. As of 9:30, our total assets are $706,444, with $251,555 in cash. We have $298,428 in liabilities, so our fund balance is $411,670. We don't have any significant changes to the statement of financial position. Next report is the statement of activity, and for the month of September, we have a surplus of $6,245. The most significant expense was in architectural engineering, $7,147. These were for Creighton Manning for the water main project.
The industrial access road.
Can, you talk about these receivables?
Sure. The receivables are, Pilot City. I believe I have a receivable sheet on the table there and a payable sheet.
Yep.
So those should tell you exactly what those numbers are. Those are pilots, 2 pilots that have not yet been collected.
We expect to collect on time from City Station.
We expect to, but if they don't pay on time, I'm not 100% sure if they were, billed at, they may have been billed at 9:30. If they were billed on 9:30, they're not actually due until 10:50.
Well, that depends on the agreement, I'll double check.
Correct.
They're expecting to close on City Station North in the next, I would say 30 days-ish.
In November, yeah.
That doesn't happen without this being reconciled. It's the same beneficial owner group. I'll check on the due dates. Remember that the penalties and interest are statutory and we can't waive them.
And what about Dinosaur?
Dinosaur was waiting for, W-9 for May. And we're sending that, so that should be coming shortly.
That comes at a 5% plus 1% a month, though. They know that, right? So when they eventually do pay you, they gotta include, doesn't matter
Yeah.
what the W-9 situation is or whether they even got a bill.
Great.
Yeah, I'll double check that too.
Have you had issues with them before?
I don't think we have really with Dinosaur,
We
have
don't
we?
typically give a W-9 because we're a not-for-profit. It shouldn't matter. Most
It shouldn't.
taxing
They're the only ones
entities
that
are
do it.
not-for-profit.
And would the city have to give them a W-9 to pay their taxes? No. Yeah.
The only ones who asked. And the Casino, I think last month I said I will call them and find out where we are on that one. Late fee.
Oh, yeah, that was a penalty and interest after the fact,
Yeah.
which, if you look at all 4 of the ones that we're looking at now, unless you collect that with the actual payment when they make it, you end up chasing that as a kind of a dog and cat receivable. And it's not money we get to keep, we, the IDA, it has to be distributed out
To the city, right?
county and the schools.
Is that how you collect it? Do you send them 2 separate bills for the,
It's all one bill with a line item. If it happens to be late, we have to tag on 5%. And then every 30 days it goes beyond that, there's an additional 1%, up to 12% a year.
So
You-
right now, the late fee is on that, the late fee's on the late fee.
and you bill them, do you bill them on the late fee? That's what I'm asking.
Justin, you'll check on
Yeah.
the City Station and the Dinosaur?
You do tactful speculation may suggest that when they hit their bridge loan and their construction loan for City Station North, they may be reconciling southeast and west. You know how these
Yeah,
work?
yep.
It's a cash flow thing, but
Yep.
I'll ask the question to their attorney, who I'm talking with already.
Okay.
And I'll confirm with Mary Ellen the exact date.
The invoice went out?
Well, it's more important what the pilot says.
Gotcha.
Oftentimes, doesn't matter if an invoice goes or doesn't, and we try to draft it that way so they can't use
For my hotel.
administrative hiccups to, you know, finance
And,
their outlay, but,
Yeah.
Justin?
Yeah.
They've paid.
east, south, and west.
They paid over, do not,
Oh,
Okay.
It's all 3 of them?
okay, they actually did pay.
That late fee, is it how, it says it's over 90 days, how far over 90 days?
I can't tell without looking at my.
Okay, so City Station paid in October, which isn't reflected on the aging summary. And Steve, you'll follow up with
All
Dinosaur?
of them did.
I'll follow up with
With the
the
W,
Cena.
or the W-9's already
On the
signed
fixed
and
amount.
being
Sign it
sent out?
Yes,
Right.
they're all
Okay.
paid.
So that
And
should be
it's-
We just
shortly.
need to figure
I will
out
follow
when the
up with
payment hit
Christina.
and whether or not something was triggered.
Right.
Danae will follow up with
And then this one
Dinosaur.
Okay.
has been out there,
For a while.
And then Justin will follow up with
This one has a
with Mary Ellen
weird,
regarding the pilot, to see if
added
there's any late
amount.
fees
Mm-hmm.
that need to
we
be added.
calculated what the taxes
to
on the
But
bottom
City
roll
Station or
and-
Sounds like
Dinosaur.
City Station paid in time, so there's no late fees there.
Okay.
Dinosaur,
'cause it's very similar with West and East,
I'll pull them out,
right?
yeah.
Dinosaur,
Okay.
we bill.
I'll pull
so
it and take it.
Okay.
I think it's
Quick look
included.
through.
So you can see
Okay.
Okay.
charge.
Oh, perfect, okay.
Okay.
All right.
Right.
Any other
Before you-
questions or comments regarding the financials or the aging summaries? Okay. Thanks, Mary Ellen. Do we have a motion to approve the September 30th financials?
Make the motion?
Stephanie, do you have a second? Josh, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Great. I think that is it.
Yeah, that's an IDA.
Do we have a motion to adjourn?
Nate? motion to
Stephanie,
adjourn.
second. Josh, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Does everybody have the CRC agenda? I have the one that was sent out the other day. Should I grab a new one, or? Anything was updated?
The agenda, no, nothing should have changed there.
Okay. Okay, I'd like to call the order of the Troy CRC meeting. Today is October 29th, 2021. First item on the agenda is the approval of the minutes from September 24th, 2021 board meeting. Do we have a motion to approve? Sue, do we have a second? Ashley, all in favor?
Aye.
Any abstentions? Josh? Okay. Second item, the budget, Steve.
All right, this one's pretty easy. So just going straight to 2022. Rentals and financing income, those are our annual fees for the existing, RPI, bonds that are out there. So we have total income of $4,600 a year. Professional service contracts include CFO, legal, and audit. And the 75,000 I have down there for grants. I have no idea what we're gonna do for grants and donations this year. I put in 75,000 for this year, 50,000 for the following 2 years. And, you see that brings us through 2026 with a cash balance of 170 at the end of next 5 years. Questions?
Does it then ultimately get replenished?
When we do other
They'll be just,
bonds,
okay,
yes. So it's either Russell Sage or, RPI, any nonprofit, basically, that does it.
so it's pretty routine that
Well, it's not, you never know, so,
Okay.
you know.
You could have a dry spell and then a few in a year, just
Yeah.
depends on what RPI might be doing with their debt portfolio, whether Sage is gonna be able to, do a financing or get to a place where they have a facility expansion or something, capital project.
So because you have the reserves, it is okay to go through the deficit for next year and just look at it?
You can appropriate fund balance to carry forward on operations, and usually you carry a pretty small footprint on, you have accounting and legal as your basics and some staffing. Right now, we built into the RPI agreements, and there's 3 of them that have a $1,500 a year maintenance fee. So we've kind of gotten to a point where accounting is paid for, the deal flow, year over year, and there may be more of those opportunities coming up, so. The fund balance, I think, is strategic for this board to help the LDC and the IDA and other not-for-profits until the point where usually you want to keep 3 or 4 years of fund balance at a minimum to carry your operations if there's no projected revenue. So until we get down to about 40,000, I think that's when we worry. But right now, we're in a pretty healthy position.
How did you build it to where it's at now?
That was mostly the last 2 RPI refinancing.
Oh, really?
I don't remember
Yeah.
what we were down to, but we had a big RPI that brought us in.
There was one that was almost 700 about 6 years ago. The last few, there was like a 300 that we collected 2 years ago, and then most recently it was about 50 for the refi of the IDA debt.
And if you see the end of 2020, that's 496 revenue on in 2020. That was the big RPI deal.
Okay.
And then the 2021 was the
Oh,
small
okay.
RPI deal we did this year.
Alright.
Where is it?
The top two lines on the budget.
Oh, gotcha.
You see the revenue coming in.
Yeah.
I think there might just be like a calculation error on budget of 2026, for the cash at the beginning and
Oh,
end of
yeah.
the year.
Yep, it's the same as the year before.
Oh, it just needs to be netted.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I'll fix that. That actually does not go in. That's kind of for you to see. It doesn't go in with the CRC report, but, I'll correct it.
Yeah. Okay. Do you have any questions or comments regarding the budget? We have a motion to approve the budget.
I'll make the motion.
A second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Great. Chief, anything on the executive director's report?
You know, I didn't mention, and I'm just gonna mention it now, that I should have said in the IDA, that there are 2 pilots that went through the county recently. They're in the works right now, so this is always the age-old thing about, you know, what's our deal as people pilot shop between us and the county. So, one was for the new building on Fifth Avenue. There's an existing building there at the corner of Fifth and Federal Street. It's 3 stories right now. They're gonna add 2 to that. So the county is right in the process of giving them a 20-year pilot, 10 years with 100% of abatement on the addition, and then going down 95, 90, 85. Things I don't like to do, but we have done similar to that for Rosenblum, with the Vecina property. And the other one is an apartment project on, Northern Drive, Cemetery Road, Board Isle Apartments, which I probably wouldn't have given one on that. I didn't give one on the Oakwood Avenue Apartments, and it's the same structure. You know, that's what we're always,
Who's doing the cemetery project? Who's the developer?
What did you say it was, Cemetery?
Cemetery Road, so it's above, what's Board Isle Apartments? It's right above Lori Jean,
Oh, north?
north in Lansing.
Okay.
Yeah. So I just want to mention that there's 2 going through the county ID right now.
And then allegedly Bryce, which Lord knows if that's real or the restacking of the atrium, wherever that may be.
Yeah,
So,
that'll definitely go through the county.
What's going on with the parking lot?
Well, they're looking to try and do demolition on it,
Oh.
but I want to see their entire plans, so
what's their diversion plan while it's down?
I don't have one. The city was able to, we restructured how we do our monitoring of our permits, and we were able to provide about 100 parking spaces to people that lost spaces. Fortunately, with COVID, there's a lot less people coming in, so a lot of people park on the street, a lot of people found other private agreements, and then the city picked.
So it's been dispersed. It's empty, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's
one
not-
side the
not
other day,
opening
yeah,
again.
yeah.
Not opening again. Initially, he thought he was gonna be able to,
So he didn't lose it. I know
no.
there was at one point there was financing on it.
Oh, there still is.
Oh, there is? Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Hello, everybody, sorry I'm late.
Hey, Jim. Boy.
So that was it for the executive director's report. Financials is. There you go.
First report is a statement of financial position, and as of 9:30, our total assets are $509,476, with $499,476 in cash. There are no liabilities, so our fund balance is $509,400. On the statement of activities, we have a deficit of $2,192. Majority of that is going into architectural engineering, no out of the ordinary expenses.
anyone have any questions regarding the financials? We have a motion to approve the financials.
Make the motion.
Albert, do we have a second?
Second.
Sue? Oh, Sue and Jim? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Great. Steve, any new or old business to discuss?
Nothing.
Okay. Any further? Anybody else wanna? Okay. Do we have a motion to adjourn? Motion. Josh, do we have a second?
Well, thank you.
Stephanie? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Meeting adjourned. All right. Thank you, everyone. Thanks, everybody.